Hi, you're watching Just the News. I'm Amita Balachandra. Let's get straight to it. Now, the Lok Sabha passed the Farm Laws Repeal Bill 2021 without any discussion as soon as the lower house opened for proceedings on the first day of the winter session of the parliament. Now, it was tabled at 12:06 p.m. and passed by 12:10 p.m. in a matter of 4 minutes amid opposition demands for a discussion. Now, opposition leaders of the Lok Sabha objected to the lack of discussion, pointing out that a discussion has taken place on the 5 or 6 occasions when a law was scrapped. Now, the opposition claimed the government evaded a discussion to avoid the issue of minimum support price for farmers' produce, which has been a long pending demand during the long year agitation, which has been going on for like a year right now. In Rajya Sabha, in the meantime, it was passed after a short discussion. Congress's leader in the House, Mallikarjun Kharge, said all parties agreed on the bill and nobody was opposed to it. In the meantime, according to ANI, farm leader Rakesh Tikait said, and I quote, government wants that there should be no protest in the country, but will not leave the protest site before any discussion on MSP, including other issues. End quote. Meanwhile, 12 opposition MPs from Rajya Sabha have been suspended from Parliament's winter session for the shocking violence on the last day of the monsoon session. Now, the opposition has condemned the suspension, saying that it is against the rules. The list of suspended MPs includes Shiv Sena's Priyanka Chaturvedi and Anil Desai, Trinamool Congress's Dola Sen, and Shanta Chetri, CPM's Elamaram Karim, and 6 other Congress leaders. Meanwhile, the Press Club of India has expressed discontent as the journalists were kept out of the press gallery on the first day of the winter session on Monday. Now, the PCI tweeted, and I quote, instead of keeping the parliamentary system media friendly and transparent, the permanent press gallery passes of journalists who have covered parliament for years have been deactivated. Journalists reporting to parliament are feeling hurt and humiliated by this tinkering of the system. End quote. Also in the news, Minister of State for Defence Ajay Bhatt has informed Rajya Sabha that Jammu and Kashmir has witnessed 1,033 terrorist incidents in 3 years. He also went on to say that 177 personnel, including from the CAPF, which is Central Armed Police Forces, died in counter-terrorist operation during the period. Now, the minister was replying to a question on the number of terrorist attacks in the country during the last 3 years and the number of armed forces personnel killed in the attacks. An update now on the new COVID variant Omicron. The WHO has today said that the new COVID variant poses a very high risk globally. Now, the WHO's technical note says, and I quote, if another major surge of COVID-19 takes place driven by Omicron's consequences may be severe. To date, no deaths linked to Omicron variant have been reported, end quote. Now, the WHO on Friday had declared this variant as a variant of concern and had renamed it as Omicron. Now, the WHO also said that it could take several weeks to complete studies of this variant to see if there is any change in transmissibility, severity, or implications for COVID vaccines, tests, and treatments. In the meantime, according to the revised guidelines by the Union Health Ministry, travelers from at-risk countries will have to undergo a mandatory 7-day home quarantine if they test negative for the virus. It has released a number of guidelines for travelers at this point in time, and these guidelines come into effect from the 1st of December. Now, the nations on the Omicron at-risk list include South Africa, Brazil, Bangladesh, among other countries. In the meantime, WHO Chief Scientist Soumya Swaminathan has said that the new COVID variant is a wake-up call at what viruses do and for us to be one step ahead. Union Health Secretary Rajesh Bhushan has said, and I quote, the variant is reported to have a significantly high number of mutations and thus has serious public health implications for the country in view of the recently relaxed visa restrictions and opening up of international travel, end quote. Now, here's what other countries are doing. There are several travel restrictions At least 13 countries, including Scotland, Netherlands, Israel, Canada, Italy, have detected cases of Omicron. Now, Japan and Morocco and Israel are suspending air travel from around the world amid fears. In fact, just today, Japan's prime minister has said that he will be barring all foreign arrivals of the new variant after saying, and I quote, "We are taking measures with a strong sense of crisis," end quote. The ban comes into effect in Japan on Tuesday. The UK, in the meantime, has called for an urgent meeting of G7 health ministers amid the rising concerns of this new variant. The seven G7 countries are Canada, France, Germany, Italy, Japan, the UK, and the US. Now, the head of the World Health Organization in Africa, in the meantime, while all of this is going on across the world on Sunday, urged countries to follow the science rather than imposing flight bans in a bid to contain the new variant. He went on to say, and I quote, "With the Omicron variant now detected in several regions of the world, putting in place travel bans that target Africa attacks global solidarity," end quote. An update now on COVID numbers in India. India has reported 8,309 new COVID cases in the last 24 hours. Kerala has reported 3,382 new COVID cases. Hyderabad-based vaccine maker Bharat Biotech has announced that it will resume exporting Covaxin to additional countries from December. Now, in a statement, the company has said, and I quote, "Bharat Biotech has commenced exports of Covaxin. Long pending orders have been executed during November to be further expanded during the following months. With the number of countries that have granted emergency use approvals for Covaxin increasing, exports to additional countries will also commence from December." Moving on to the state of Tamil Nadu now, which has been flooded. Several parts of Tamil Nadu have been flooded. Chief Minister Stalin today visited flood-hit areas, continues to witness incessant rainfall for the last couple of days at least. Schools and colleges will be shut in Chennai and 10 other districts from Monday. Chief Minister M.K. Stalin visited flood-hit areas today in Kanchi and Chennai districts to inspect the rehabilitation work as well. Incessant rainfall has caused widespread damage to crops, buildings, and roads. It's also led to waterlogging in several parts of the state. Now, crops spread over more than 50,000 hectares have been damaged by heavy rains in Tamil Nadu till now, according to the latest information. The IMD has said a low pressure area is likely to form over the South Andaman Sea by the 30th of November. Under its influence, isolated heavy to very heavy rainfall is likely over Andaman and Nicobar Islands between November 30th and the 2nd of December. In Puducherry, in the meantime, schools and colleges have been given holidays for both Monday and Tuesday. Also in the news now, comedian Munawar Faruqi has been in the eye of the storm since the beginning of the year, even when he was arrested from a venue in Indore, even before he could perform. In the last 2 months, over 12 shows of Faruqi has been cancelled. Now, in an Instagram post, Munawar Faruqi hinted that he would quit comedy. He said, and I quote, "I think this is the end. My name is Munawar Faruqi, and that's been my time. You guys were a wonderful audience. Goodbye, I'm done." The caption read, "Nafrat jeet hai, artist haar gaya, I'm done, goodbye, injustice," end quote. Now, this comes after his show in Bengaluru was cancelled by the Bengaluru police. In a letter to the organizer, Good Shepherd Auditorium, the Bengaluru police referred to Mr. Faruqi's show, Dongri to Nowhere, and said Mr. Faruqi is a controversial figure. Mohan Gowda of the Hindu Jagrat Samiti in Bengaluru also said that they won't allow the show to be held. On to news from Uttar Pradesh. The Uttar Pradesh teacher eligibility test, which was scheduled to be held on Sunday, was cancelled after the question paper was leaked. Now, the Uttar Pradesh Special Task Force have arrested 23 people till now in this particular case. Over 20 lakh candidates were set to appear for this exam. Now, Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath said that the culprits will be booked under the National Security Act and Gangster Act. He also said that the exam will be held within a month. Now, the Supreme Court today asked states in the National Capital Region and Punjab to apprise it about the implementation of various directions given to it and the Commission for Air Quality Management in National Capital Region and adjoining areas for curbing air pollution, and said that it might set up an independent task force to ensure compliance. Now, a three-judge bench headed by Chief Justice of India said that while the intentions of the central authorities in issuing various directions to the states may be good, their implementation so far has been zero. In the meantime, Delhi Environment Minister Gopal Rai announced that construction and demolition activities in Delhi will remain banned till further orders. He's also announced a compensation of 5,000 rupees each to all construction workers. The ban on the entry of trucks, barring those engaged in essential services, will continue till the 7th of December, while CNG and electric trucks will be allowed to enter Delhi. Moving on to business news right now, while responding to a question in the Lok Sabha, Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman interestingly said that the government has no proposal to recognize Bitcoin as a currency in the country. Now, she also informed the Lok Sabha that the government does not collect data on Bitcoin transactions. Now, this comes, if you remember, amid news of the government planning to introduce the cryptocurrency and regulation of official Digital Currency Bill 2021 in the ongoing winter session of the parliament that began today. On to international news right now. Sweden's first female prime minister has been reappointed to the top job after political turmoil forced her to resign within hours of taking the post just last week. Now, according to the BBC, MPs backed Social Democratic Party leader Anderson by a narrow margin in a new vote on Monday. Now, she will attempt to lead a one-party government until an election in September next year. On to sports news right now. Manchester United announced that they have appointed Ralph Rangnick as interim manager until the end of the season. Now, Manchester United lost 5 times in the last 7 Premier League games. United are 8th in the Premier League table after a 1-1 draw with leaders Chelsea on Sunday, 5 points off the top 4. And one piece of good news before we wrap up this bulletin. The Delhi government has launched a TV show to help students to pitch startup ideas to investors. Now, the opportunity will be given to students from classes 11 and 12. The initiative is called Business Blasters, and the show will include students' business ideas shortlisted from 51,000 entries submitted by 3 lakh students. Each participating student will receive 2,000 rupees as seed money. That brings us to the end of this bulletin. Thank you so much for watching.